All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we're going through Proverbs 8, verses 30 through 31, and it reads, Then I was beside him like a master workman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world and delighting in the children of man. So, this is wisdom talking. Wisdom was just talking about how I've been here since day one, and now wisdom is talking about I rejoice and have been rejoicing since day one. So my interpretation of this, really the part that stood out to me was that people are worth rejoicing over and work is worth rejoicing over. Then I was beside him like a master workman. A master workman, somebody who's a master at doing work, I feel, is how I interpreted that. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right. And wisdom is rejoicing this whole time while standing beside him, being God, like a master workman. Additionally, at the end of this verse 31, it says, and delighting in the children of man. So, standing by God as a master workman, rejoice. Interacting with people, seeing people, loving people, rejoicing over people. That's what I got from this. That people are worth rejoicing over and work is worth rejoicing over. So, the entrepreneurial application, this hit a couple different ways for me. First, it identified limiting beliefs that I feel like a lot of us have because it shows us the error of our thinking when it comes to work is a drag. Work shouldn't be a drag. You should be rejoicing over work. People, I don't like people. I hate people. No, you don't. If you hate somebody, if you don't like somebody, it means you haven't gotten to know them enough. Because if the creator of the universe can take the time to love that individual that you're saying you hate, uh, and the creator of the universe has a perfect vision, perfect sight, perfect eyes to see people as they are, there's something you're missing. And so, if God can take the time to love people, so can you. If God can take the time to rejoice over his children as they come back home from the prodigal son story, so can you. And so people are worth rejoicing over. Work is worth rejoicing over. And so many of us think the opposite when it comes to people in our daily lives, that we can't trust people, that work's going to be a drag, that we don't like to do the things that we like to do, right? And it also finds clarity because it points us towards rejoicing in our work and rejoicing always. And that makes you real clear on things because you're either rejoicing or you're not. So you either need to be doing something else or you need to be doing the same thing you're doing in a different manner. And most often, it is the same thing you're doing in a different manner, which will typically lead to it being a whole nother thing because inputs equal outputs, right? So anything in a relationship can only act as it does when it's in relationship with something that is staying the same. And so because you come to work with a bad attitude every day, work can come to you and suck every day. But if you go to work with a good attitude, work can't come to you and suck. That's not how it works. That's not the relationship, right? And so if you stay consistent and you don't grow, you'll keep getting the same results. But as you start to change, the stuff around you will start to change. And so if you're not rejoicing, you either need to show up differently or show up somewhere else, right? So get you clarity on that because you're either rejoicing or you're not. And if you're not, you need to. If you are, keep doing what you're doing. It also points to abundant belief. So we talked about limiting beliefs, we talked about clarity, abundant beliefs now because it sets the foundation for rejoicing in and loving people. And I think people are the thing that make the world go round, really, at least human society as we know it, right? The economy would be nothing without people. Your infrastructure would be nothing without people. We need people to operate our daily society. And for us to not rejoice over that, for us to not enjoy that, you know, it's not a good foundation to continue to rejoice, right? And so, if we want to have the abundant belief that people are worth rejoicing over, this sets the foundation for it because it gives us a model. It says it's been done before. Since day one, people have been rejoiced over. So, what am I missing? That's my point there with abundant beliefs. It got a little mixed up there, a little confusing, but my point is if it's been going on since day one, people have been rejoiced over since day one. What am I missing that is causing me to not rejoice over people? Where has this shown up in my life? I would say the passion I have for the podcast and people's dreams and goals, right? Like I love showing up for people, walking through their burdens with them, really bearing their burdens with them, coming out on the other side with the solution and through adversity together because that builds intimacy in those relationships. And intimacy has always been something that has eluded me, right? And so I have the passion for the podcast because people have dreams and goals. I feel like I'm equipped to help you with your dreams and goals, and I'm constantly improving my life so that I'm better equipped to help you with your dreams and goals. And so the passion with which I approach that self-improvement and that ability to walk through burdens with people, it's where rejoicing over people, rejoicing over work has showed up in my life. Where do I want it to show up in my life? I don't always rejoice over work. Often, still W-2'd, right? I can get very upset. I can get very annoyed. I can get very irritated. I think it's because I'm taking myself too seriously. I have expectations over myself where it's like, I need to be at this certain financial marker by this arbitrary point in time so that I can help my family in this arbitrary way. Right. And yeah, maybe there's real need there, but there's also ways I could help my family that I may be missing because I'm so focused on getting the money and having the resources to do so. Right. And so I really want to show up in my life insofar as I want to rejoice in work more, take myself less serious, and beat myself up less for mistakes, because a mistake is just an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to be vulnerable. Like I protect myself from mistakes so much because I'm scared of vulnerability. A part of me doesn't want to doesn't want people to see the real me, right? The part that I feel like is the real me, not the part that God says I am, but the part that I'm like, yeah, this has been me since day one, and I've worked so hard to hide it. And a mistake shows a crack in my facade, right? And so the more authentic you can get, the less you judge yourself, um, the easier it'll be to rejoice in your daily life because the pressure won't be there. And I've been relieving that pressure, since high school, and I'm getting to the point where it's getting pretty good now, but it's still there. I'm human too. And so how can you guys apply this to your life? I think of the scripture here, today is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Choose to rejoice and look for things to rejoice over. Rejoicing isn't a feeling, it's like obedience. Like choose to rejoice. You don't have to be stuck in a grumpy mood. You don't have to be stuck hating people. You don't have to be stuck hating work. Choose to notice what's good. Love that, rejoice over that, and then spread that energy to other people who need it, right? So that's what we got for you guys today. Thanks so much for listening to the show. We will see you on the next one. And on that note, we're out.